Your neighbors are going to drive past your yard in September and slow down. While their flower beds sit half empty and burned out from the summer heat, yours will be fuller, thicker, and more alive than it was in spring. They'll assume you spent all summer working for it. You didn't. You made one decision in June that they didn't. 11 perennials, 1 month. Plants that spread on their own, come back every single year, and multiply for free while you sit on your porch with a glass of tea. And the one at number 9 fills an entire empty bed in a single season. So let's not waste another minute. Before plant number 1, drop a comment right now and tell me what state you're gardening in. Your USDA zone completely changes which of these performs best for you, and I'll be calling out specific zones through this entire video. Find yours and pay attention. Plant 1, catmint. If you want a plant that blooms from June straight through the first frost and asks for nothing in return, this is where you start. Catmint produces a soft cloud of lavender blue flowers that does not quit. Most perennials give you 4 to 6 weeks of color. Catmint gives you 4 to 5 months. It spreads outward into a wider mound every season, drought tough once established, and deer walk right past it because of the aromatic foliage. Hardy in zones 3 through 8. Plant it in full sun, water it deeply once, then mostly leave it alone. Here's the trick nobody tells you. Shear the whole plant back by a third in midsummer when the first flush fades, and it explodes into a second full bloom within 2 weeks. Walker's Low is the variety you want. It stays neat without flopping over. Plant 2, Black-Eyed Susan. This grows wild along American roadsides from Maine to Texas, and people still pay $9 a pot for it every spring. Golden yellow petals around a near black center, and it blooms from July clear through October, right when everyone else's garden is brown and finished. Rudbeckia is hardy in zones 3 through 9, and here's what makes it spread. It multiplies underground through rhizomes and reseeds itself on top, filling a bed 2 ways at once. Highway departments plant it across the country for exactly that reason. Goldsturm is the cultivar documented to bloom longer and heavier than the standard. That's the one you want every time. Plant 3, Bee Balm. If you've never had a hummingbird hover 2 feet from your face in your own backyard, this is the plant that makes it happen. Monarda throws up spiky tubular flowers in red, pink, and purple that are biologically built for hummingbird beaks. Hardy in zones 3 through 9. It spreads through underground runners and fills a large space in 2 to 3 seasons. And here's something most people don't know. It's in the mint family, the leaves are edible, and they brew into a tea that tastes almost exactly like Earl Grey. You're growing a hummingbird magnet and a kitchen herb at the same time. Pick a mildew-resistant variety like Jacob Klein for deep red, and it'll outperform the older types with half the trouble. Plant 4, coneflower. Purple coneflower earns its space 3 times over. It blooms for months, it feeds pollinators all summer, and when you leave the seed heads standing in fall, goldfinches strip them through the winter. Echinacea is hardy in zones 3 through 9 and spreads by self-seeding, so one plant quietly becomes a colony. Here's the part that matters. Those seedlings are free plants. Every one you let grow is $10 or $15 you didn't spend at the nursery. Leave a few seed heads every fall and you'll never buy coneflower again. Plant 5, yarrow. Yarrow is almost impossible to kill, and it spreads fast enough to fill a problem area in one season. Flat clusters of flowers, white, gold, deep red, soft pink, sit on top of fern-like foliage from June through late summer. Hardy in zones 3 through 9, drought-proof once established, and it actually performs better in poor, lean soil than in rich ground. Rich soil makes it floppy, neglect makes it strong, it spreads by underground rhizomes, and you can dig and divide it every couple of years for free plants anywhere you want them. This is the plant for the dry, baked corner where nothing else survives. And stay with me, because number 9 is the one that takes a completely bare bed and fills it solid in a single season. And I'll show you exactly how it does. Plant 6, creeping thyme. This is the one that fills the gaps. Creeping thyme is a ground cover that spreads into a dense, fragrant mat between stepping stones, along pathways, and over bare soil where weeds would otherwise move in. In early to midsummer, it covers itself in tiny pink-purple flowers that bees cannot leave alone. Hardy in zones 4 through 9, it takes light foot traffic, releases its scent when you step on it, and chokes out weeds by simply covering the ground they need. Plant plugs about a foot apart in full sun, and they'll knit together into a solid carpet by the end of the season. Plant 7, Daylily. This plant grows in Alaska. It grows in Florida, it grows in the Arizona desert and the Minnesota frost. Daylilies are hardy in zones 1 through 11, every single state in the country. They throw color from early summer into fall, especially if you mix early and late varieties, and they shade the ground so completely underneath that weeds can't get a foothold. Here's the free money part. Every 4 years, you dig up one clump and split it into 10 or 15 divisions. At $10 a plant, one Daylily eventually hands you over $100 of free plants. That's not gardening, that's investing. One warning, daylilies are toxic to cats, so if cats roam your garden, skip this one. Plant 8, Coreopsis. Coreopsis blooms so long and so hard it almost looks fake. Bright gold, daisy-like flowers cover the plant from June until frost if you give it the occasional shear. Hardy in zones 3 through 9, drought tolerant, and it spreads to form a wider clump each year. The threadleaf types like Moonbeam are the most reliable and the longest blooming. They shrug off heat that fries other flowers. Cut it back by a third when blooming slows, and it reloads within weeks. This is pure, low-effort summer color. Plant 9, ground cover, sedum. Here it is, the one I promised, the plant that fills an entire empty bed in a single season. Creeping sedum like dragon's blood spreads into a thick mat of succulent foliage that turns vivid red as fall comes on. Each leaf stores its own water, so it survives weeks without a single drop. Hardy in zones 3 through 9, it roots itself wherever it touches the ground. That's the secret to how fast it fills space. It expands on its own, and you can break off pieces and start new patches for free anywhere you want them. Plant it in lean soil, never fertilize it, and it rewards the neglect with better color and tighter growth. For a bare, sunny, miserable patch of ground, nothing on earth fills it faster. Plant 10, Ajuga. Most of this list wants full sun. Ajuga is your answer for the shady spots where grass won't grow and nothing seems to fill in. Bugleweed spreads by runners into a dense, weed-smothering carpet of glossy bronze-purple leaves, then sends up spikes of blue-violet flowers in late spring and early summer. Hardy in zones 3 through 9. It thrives in part to full shade under trees and along the north side of the house, exactly the spots that defeat everything else. Plant it a foot apart and it closes the gaps in one season. Just give it a defined edge, because it spreads with real enthusiasm. Plant 11, Russian Sage. We finish with the plant that blooms longest of all. Once Russian Sage establishes, it throws blue-purple flowers on silver-white stems from July straight through October, 4 months of color. Hardy in zones 4 through 9. No pests, deer leave it alone, and even after the flowers fade, the silver stems hold structure into winter when every other bed looks bare. One job a year, cut it to 6 inches in early spring. 30 seconds of work for 4 months of bloom. That exchange is almost unfair. Now, every plant on this list could be bought in July or August. So why does this video say June? Because of what happens underground. By June, soil temperatures across most of the country have climbed past 60 degrees, and that warm soil is exactly what fast-spreading perennials need to push roots and runners at full speed. A spreader planted into warm June soil establishes faster and covers more ground by fall than the same plant set into cold spring dirt. You get an entire season of spread before the plant goes dormant. Wait until the heat of late summer and that same plant spends all its energy just trying to survive instead of spreading. June is the window where warmth and time line up. It's open right now. Before you plant a single one of these, 3 things decide whether they thrive or struggle. 1. Fix your drainage first. Poor drainage kills more perennials than heat, cold, and neglect combined. Dig a 1-foot hole, fill it with water, and if it hasn't drained within an hour, work in coarse sand and compost, or build the bed up before you plant. Do it once. Do it right. 2. Division is free money. Almost every plant on this list can be split every few years into more full, blooming plants at zero cost. One morning with a spade can turn $50 of plants into $200. You should never buy a plant twice that's already growing in your yard. 3. Water deep through the first month. These are tough plants, but only after they establish. For the first 3 to 4 weeks, water deeply twice a week so the roots chase down instead of staying shallow. After that, most of these will carry themselves through the summer on their own. You just got 11 plants that will take an empty June bed and turn it into the fullest yard on your street by September, and then come back bigger every year after for free, without you starting over each spring. That's not a video, that's a plan. If even one of these is going in your yard this month, subscribe right now, because every week I put out content built to make your garden easier, fuller, and cheaper to keep. Real plants, real zones, real information. Then drop a comment and tell me 2 things. Which plant you're putting in first, and what state you're gardening in. Your zone matters, and I read every comment. Now go fill those beds. I'll see you in the next one.